Hello everyone and welcome back. So we are now in the third week of Halloween, so we have some time, and all that. Today's third week for the video. So first week of October, I was talking about the new Stephen King hit film. Last week I talked about one of my favorite Halloween movies, The Crow. Today I'm talking about a cartoon. Now, this is a cartoon that I personally grew up with as a kid. It was a cartoon that I loved and enjoyed. And it had some of the most imagery and such you could not fathom and all that and such. And that is Courage the Cowardly Dog. Oh god, this was a great cartoon, and I'm amazed about how some of that stuff got past the censors and everything and such. So, for those who don't know, Courage the Cowardly Dog was the story about this dog named Courage who lived with his owners Eustace and Muriel in the middle of nowhere. Along the way, Courage would have to deal with any sort of creature of the week, whether it be an alien chicken from outer space, monsters like mummies, Bigfoot, or whatever, or demons and such, zombies and whatnot, to help save his owners, Eustace and Muriel. Mostly Muriel, So, this was a cartoon I personally could never get enough of, and I used to watch it a lot as a kid, because Courage had some of the most dark imagery and such. I was amazed about how so much of this stuff got past the censors and everything, So let's talk about one of the key things about Courage, and that was the villains. There were so many of these characters that I could not say enough about. There are so many to choose from and everything, so I've got a few right here in my notebook to talk about, so let's talk about them. First off, let's talk, one of the big villains, first guy I could not fathom was Freaky Fred. Every time this character is on screen, I shudder. Because the way he says, naughty, it just creeps me out. He appears in the episode Freaky Fred, where he is the nephew to Eustace and Muriel. He has this obsession with cutting people's hair off, like to the point of making them bald. So, just his smile, his attitude, and just the way he narrates and everything is just so creepy and such. It sends a chill down my spine because he's just so freaky and everything, and he literally is Freaky Fred. So, and he cuts off all Courage's fur except for Lil, with love, Fred, and at the end of the episode, Freaky Fred. But it's just so, he's just such an antagonist that makes my skin crawl. Don't get me wrong, I love have my hair cut all my hair cut off and all, but I don't know how far he would go and everything, so. Then we have the Big Toe, which was an episode of The Clutching Foot, where Eustace had something was going on with his foot, and it grew into Big Toe. And every time he kind of go, yeah, see, we're gonna do this to you, bro, see? It was this one's a little lighter villain from Fred, but it was just disgusting that this thing would just come alive and everything. It was just, ugh. And the way Courage saves the day with this one is by licking the toe, and then when the episode ends, it gets on his tongue. So, then, I gotta talk about the one many people can never forget, and that's King Ramses from Ramses Curse. This was creepy. Like, I'm seriously creeped out by King Ramses. Like, he was a 3D model in this cartoon show, but yet, when you look at him, he is just, it just scares the crap out of you. And just says, return the slave, or suffer my curse. Eustace, I just couldn't stand at times, because he was like, what's your offer? And it's just, that was one creepy one I really couldn't stand. Then we have the Black Puddle Queen. Now this one was an interesting episode because she appears in the episode of Queen of the Black Puddle. And in that episode, she's luring Eustace to her underworld world. She's going to eat him. The way her look and design is and everything is so unique and everything and such, but it is so interesting. It kind of reminds me of Evelina, if y'all remember the original, her and all that and such. But by the end of the episode, she kind of reappears, but in the form of a dog for Courage, and it's just, oh boy. So let's see. I got to talk about Cats. Just the way he walks, posture, attitude, tone of voice. He is someone I really never want to mess with. He doesn't like dogs, obviously, because he's a cat. We see in a couple episodes with him, like with Cat's Hotel or the submarine and all that. And just the way he says, "Welcome to Cat's Hotel." It was just, oh, he's just so chilly and everything, so. Then I remember from one episode, Everyone Wants to Direct is Benton Tarantella and Errol von Welcome. Zombies, basically, we got. And I love Benton Tarantella. If you think about it, it's Quentin Tarantino's a parody of. And I love these two a lot, because when you look at them, they're just freaky and everything, and they're trying to, they're being brought back to life and everything. They're going to direct, trying to hurt, I think, at Eustace Muriel, but they weren't aware because Courage was trying to give the whole situation and such, so. Then, of course, we had Mando from Mando's Magic, where he was supposed to be a magician, but in fact, he's actually an ugly monster who tried to turn Muriel into one, and Courage has to compete against him. And I just love the line, he's like, "How does he do it?" And his wife goes, "Well, he knows magic, unlike you, so." There was some other imagery in this show I could not fathom. Like, in one episode of Courage in the Stinking City, we had one scene where Courage is sent by Schmidt to go get this item for him and not let anyone know. The way Schmidt was like a giant cockroach, and that already creeped me out. I was like, ugh. So, but when Courage goes up to this one door, you see this girl, she's just playing her violin, and then she turns around and you see this! And I was like, oh my god! Fun fact, that was Tom Kenny voicing her, so. Yeah, that was pretty freaky, actually, so. We also have Alicia and Eliza Stitch, sisters who sew people into their quilts. Yeah, like, sew them into the quilt. They have their own theme music and everything. And they try to sew Muriel into their quilt and all, but, Courage saves the day and all that. And I love how at the end they get Eustace blows on them because he was sick and everything, and it was just so funny, so. But yeah, there are so many great antagonists in this show. Like, the imagery in some of these villains and such was so well done. I mean it, like, this was amazing how they got past the censors. And this is just a few that I liked and everything, and there's so many, Now, there were some good former antagonists that kind of turned good and everything, like, Kitty. In one episode, this cat is hiding at the farm with Eustace, Muriel, and Courage. And the thing is, she doesn't like Courage and everything because she's in an abusive relationship with this guy. And she eventually kind of turns around by the end, thanks to Courage and all that and such. But just the mask and the look to her was very unique. They kind of tackled an abusive relationship when you looked at it. There was Dr. Zilslot, the Goose God, which that one still makes me funny because he falls in love with Eustace's truck and takes it away to be with, and it's just, wow, because the way it goes, because the horn goes, huh. So there were so many episodes of Courage, like, I cannot tell you enough about. Like, there was one episode where there was the house was a monster who was upset. It kind of, if you think of Monster House, because it was a creature that was very upset and everything, but luckily Courage and the guy who's living in it paint her and make her look very nice and pretty, and I don't know, it was kind of funny. The end of the farmhouse of of Courage and all them was destroyed at the end. It was kind of funny. So. But I had to talk about Courage because there was so much imagery and such to be stressed. Because it amazes me how far they got past the censors and everything. Because a lot of this imagery and all that was just completely against. Like, there was one scene in the episode Perfect where we see the inside of Courage's intestines, where it just says, "You're not perfect." That alone freaked me out. It's like, oh my god. They did use some CG later on in the seasons and such, so, and that made it work by all means and such, and I really did enjoy that. So, but yeah, the villains. To say so, there is one I got to mention real quick, and that is, of course, the Great Fusili. I cannot forget that episode. In the title of the same name, the Great Fusili. He's a man coming with a show, and he's voiced by the great Jim Cummings, mind you. And pretty much in the episode, Muriel and Eustace get turned into puppets. And Courage was planning to be turned into one, but luckily, as Fusili performs, he himself gets turned into a puppet. Courage saves Muriel and Eustace, but they are stuck as puppets. That is pretty dark, actually, when you think about it. Courage could not save them. They were stuck as puppets. Ugh, it just makes me creepy being turned into a puppet being lifeless, and just the stares when you see that episode of all the people turned into puppets is pretty damn dark, so. But I was listening to all those villains and everything because that was one of the finest things about Courage, was some of that imagery of the designs of and the villains themselves were really interesting and such. Eustace was another character I just could not stand in the show. Eustace, he was supposed to be married to Muriel, but he was just such an asshole. Like, he cared more about himself, whether he be rich, his truck, or food. That's the basic three for him. I did love on some instances he was always, like, he got the short end of the stick by some episodes, like he was in a sticky situation. Well, there was one episode where he was stuck in the Thinker's positions after Eustace, Muriel, and Courage were at this museum, and the Thinker takes his clothes and all that because, he's been thinking and everything. And he's just stuck there, but it's still in the same episodes that he's just stuck there and all. It's just so funny. So. But I had to talk about Courage because, there was some dark moments in that show, like in The Great Fusili, where Muriel and Eustace were stuck as puppets, King Ramsey and all that, which was pretty terrifying when you see that CG model. And, so many others, Speck, Mando, Tarantella, Cats, so many others, because the villains of that show were just probably the finest. Like in Powerpuff Girls, that was one of the finest and everything. It was those villains characters because you really enjoyed those characters more. That's the same with me and Courage because I had to talk about some of that such. Although I do love that one line in Perfect where the fish tells Courage, you are fine just the way you are. Being perfect and all that is not a big deal. No one's perfect. And I love that a lot, I always was amazed by Courage because every reaction he gets is hilarious. Like when he freaks out, like one episode, there's like a train going out and knocks him on the side of the head because he's like so terrified and such. So, but yeah, Courage the Cowardly Dog was a cartoon. I was amazed that some of that imagery got past the censors. Like if you remember watching that, please let me know what you thought of some of that stuff and all that. So. But yeah, I just had to talk about Courage. I had to talk about some of those villains. I had to talk about some of those dark stuff that they did in because it's very fitting for October. If you ever want to watch a cartoon, Courage would be perfect. And this was aimed at children. This scared me more. So, yeah. But I want to know from you guys, what was your favorite antagonist from Courage? Which one freaked you out as a kid? And do you still recommend Courage to this day? Do you go back and watch it, and do you still feel that it's very important for people to see and all that? So, please let me know in the comments below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed me rambling on about Courage the Cowardly Dog and all that. I do film reviews. I did the review for Split if you want to check that out, and I do vlogs for like My Hero Academia, so if you want to check out those. So, they're all here on my channel. Please hit the bell to be notified of future videos and such. Come back next week, and I will be talking about my top 10 creatures, people, things that terrify me, and such like that. And follow me on Twitter for updates in social media and all that and such. So, but thank y'all for watching this episode. Please let me know what you thought about Courage. What did you love about this cartoon? What did you fear? What antagonist did you not like and such? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you next time.